Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Youth During COVID-19. This episode, we're interviewing my friend, my hidden genius alumni constituent, James Green. So today we'll be talking about youth and entrepreneurship. So real quick, like, can you just introduce yourself, James?
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you all for both having me. My name is James Green. I am alumni of the Hidden Genius Project and co-founder and CEO of FixMyKix.
So, and can you just like briefly, like, or not even briefly, just go over your like story, your upbringing, what you're doing with Fix My Kicks now, and just overall just give the
Yep,
audience a summary.
yep, absolutely, absolutely. So I come from Oakland, California, and I grew up with a working class family. We grew up struggling living check to check, but we all my mother's side of the family were also community organizers, and so that with that being really relevant in my family, I seen a lot of struggle, and but also seen a lot of strong men and women who were learning what it looked like to resist the struggle and the trials and tribulations that came with that. And as I would see my parents go out there every day, working really hard for our people, they would also come home drained, and we might not have enough money to pay the bills. And as a unit, we were still struggling. That led me to look at kind of like the economics of the situation at a young age, and I was always kind of focused on money. I since as early as I can remember, 6, 7, 8, I always had some type of business selling something, because I just understood the value of being able to generate uh, a revenue stream but without having the language yet. And so as I got older and my family's still struggling to pay our bills, my parents are split. So I'm bouncing between two different households, learning how two different parents balance their finances, while learning two different work ethics. And over time, that just really just kept fueling this natural entrepreneurship I had within me. So now, it led me to, in 2016, I dropped out of high school. Um, I was really struggling. I just didn't care anymore. I was just growing up out here. There wasn't much opportunity, and I have a lot of folks that were jumping to support me through the trauma I'm experiencing regularly on a daily basis, and help me understand myself, and why I feel the way I do, and why I feel so hopeless, and why I don't care, or why I can't see the next 5 years from me. I think also at the same time, there's a lot of my peers around me passing away at 16, 15, 17. And so all that mixed together, let, I just didn't care and had this mindset of, well, I grew up in Oakland. All I ever seen was folks hustle until they end up in Santa Rita jail or until they pass away. And so for me, all I seen for myself was living in the streets of Oakland until uh, whatever happened. Um, Fortunately, my parents forced me into the Hidden Genius Project, and I was exposed to a different level of entrepreneurship, and a different lifestyle of tech that I'd never seen for myself before. And that led to me launching Fix My Kicks, an online marketplace for shoe restoration and customization.
But
Got
Jay, before he goes deeper in that, Jay, can you say a little bit more about Fix My Kicks? Like what is the what does your company do? Like, you know what I'm saying? How can people find it? All that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So Fix My Kicks is an online marketplace for shoe restoration and customization. So it's a platform for folks who offer these services of shoe art, who restore shoes. It's a platform for them to better sell their services to their customers. And for customers, it is a space for you to now come find the folks who restore shoes so you can keep the value of the shoes you might have spent your money on, or well, obviously you spend your money on, but you might have spent a lot of money on, and you might have some sort of emotional attachment to the shoe. So there's folks out there who offer these amazing services and can create amazing transformations, as well as there's folks who can capture your creative vision and get that onto a shoe, creating a piece of wearable art. And so that's what FixMyKix is all about, providing economic opportunity to the folks who offer these services, as well as providing an environmentally sustainable service to everyone who wears shoes. As there's in 2018, over 16 billion pairs of shoes end up in our landfills annually. And so that's a lot of waste that just sits there for 30 to 40 years. And so I love fashion, and I also love our planet that we only have one of to express our fashion on. Um, and so I think it's important that we have the conversation about the intersectionality of our fashion, environment, and entrepreneurship. And I think we could be fresh, but also still be sustainable. So that's really the core value of FixMyKix and what we do.
Okay.
And yeah. My reaction to that, like, that's very powerful. Like, your story has always like inspired me since we first met. Honestly, since you first was speaking to my cohort in the Hidden Genius Project, told your story, told what Fix My Kix was. That's always inspired me. Um, but real quick, I just want to know, like, what inspires you? Like, what keeps you motivated as an entrepreneur and keeps you going?
Um, I what inspires me as an entrepreneur is just seeing a lot of inequality. Like the way I grew up, like is inequality is surrounded is all over our community, and I see it's a lack of opportunity for marginalized communities. Um, seeing folks, seeing a large a mass portion of our people be incarcerated, and just understanding that if like we can create all these plans, but it's problematic if we always have to go look for the resources to fund our ideas. And if our ideas are truly rooted in abolition and a deconstruction of these systems that oppress us, then it's imperative that we are funding the resources to these ideas, to these plans to create our own, to generate our own income, to figure out how do we keep our people in our community, and how do we support folks who need support with reentry. To me, I think those type of ideas have to be funded with our own money, and every day I see my mom do more and more powerful work. Her name is Jessica Nallen. She works at the Young Women Freedom Center, and they do work around prison reform and supporting young women and girls who have been marginalized and not supported by our system. And when I see folks do that work, such as the Hidden Genius Project, there's a burning desire inside me that I really want to support and be able to do more. But I feel my biggest role is to figure out how to generate income streams so we can do this, so we can continue to support our dreamers who have these innovative ideas, who can make the changes necessary so we can move in the direction that we want.
Dope. And so, like, briefly, can you like also speak on the challenges you faced, like, on your journey to, get Fix My Kicks like going, and yeah, and then I'll elaborate on mine also after you
Definitely,
talk about yours.
definitely, for sure. That sounds great. Well, I think for one, just from the time I first had the idea of FixMyKix, I was kind of in school. I was doing restoration and selling weed to get by, and so for at the time, all I was worried about was just getting a little bit of money. And so when I didn't think FixMyKix it was really possible. Like it still sounded crazy to me. All right, let's turn this idea into a real company. Let's and then to even just to have that, let alone a company with international infrastructure to really support anyone in the world who is looking to have their shoes restored, or anyone in the world who wants to offer these services.
Yeah.
And so it was really just a long journey for my thought process. I think anything most like having that imposter syndrome of like, can I really do this? Like,
Yeah.
launch a company. create this tech, like or even thinking about the type of money that goes into it, like really looking at our mapping out our budget for like what we need to operate on for the first year, and seeing like 500,000 and be like, damn, like we need to go ask for this, but having like the assurance, like this is what we need, like, you know what I mean, and not being not not thinking like, oh, from a deficit mindset, and thinking like, oh, I don't know, that's too much, but just like, this is this is how we want to do things. This is what it costs to do what we need to do. This is why we want to do that. These are our goals and objectives around it. um that's been a big thing for me, and also just like completely changing a life from being like a teenager from Oakland who's just like doing this thing and getting by, to really trying to, like, really everything right now is FixMyKix, preparing for this launch that's coming up. Right now we have a live website where we're taking orders at FixMyKix.com. But we also have we have our app in development and getting ready for launch this fall. And so it's really surreal, feels full circle to be in a to be like in this place like we're about to launch, when like over all this time it's kind of just been like, man, like this is taking forever. Like, is it really like is it like I feel like I have to do this, like, you know what I mean, like I don't.
Yeah.
They're getting media coverage and stuff. So I think for me it's been mostly just like staying just staying I don't want to say focused, but I want to say like just keep just remembering like it's happening. You know what I mean? Like, and it can't not happen. It's too late for it to not happen. And so just keeping that consistency and faith that we're in the right space, and I'm further along than I ever see myself before. And so I think my main challenges have been with myself, and just keep pushing myself to grow.
I got a question for you. First off, is it spelled right? Is that how we spell your website?
Yes, that's exactly how you spell it.
Okay, cool. So we'll put that up there, and people should go check that out. So as an educator, as somebody who does this work and also grew up in Oakland and all those things, I think you said a lot of stuff that I want to unpack. One, I want to talk about, like, you talked about dropping out, and I want to talk about what led to that. One, because there's going to be a lot of educators and adults listening that's running schools, so we can break that down. And then two, I appreciate you being really honest about what you was doing. He was like, yo, I was selling weed or whatnot, right? This is before weed became legal.
For sure.
Just to kind of make it. And then I think it's important to talk about what brought you back and how you ended up in the Hidden Genius Project. So just, and Jayden, you can put the kibosh on it if you need to, but I want people to really understand what leads a very innovative, smart young man from our city to just be like, yo, I'm dropping out, I'm leaving this stuff. You know what I'm saying? How does that happen in 2020? Holla at us. I mean, in 2016, let us know what happened.
For sure. I mean, to be real, it's just like the public school out here is, even the charter school, like the schools I was at. I was at I was at Realm Charter School and Skyline High School during these times, and I didn't have the support at these schools to meet my needs around addressing the level of trauma I was dealing with every day. I'm coming back home to whatever problems are going on in my household. I'm 15, 16 years old at the time, trying to figure out what it means to be a man. But blessed, I have my father in my life. How we might have been not. I'm 15, 16. We had different views on certain things. I'm kind of resistant to hearing his point of view on making decisions. I also felt like he was kind of sheltering, so I'm really resistant. Like, nah, I'm trying to learn the world, bro. But that there was no like support. Like, everybody thinking they at home, everybody thinks they know what's best for me, but like I don't want to do anything anybody here is doing. besides like the community work I've always grew up around. And also there's like, as soon as I step outside, I'm a 15, 16-year-old black man. And there's, I got to figure out how to survive. I grew up on High Street, and it's not like it's not like it was just, we just chilling. We go outside and we're just chilling at the ice cream truck. Like there's is real things going on that happen when you live in impoverished neighborhoods. And I'm trying to figure out how to navigate that, how to keep a couple dollars in my pocket. I see my homies hustling. I seen older family members hustling. And so I figured, you feel me, that's how we start getting money in our pockets. And that came with an allure of other problems that I'm not learning to navigate. Cousins turning into cousins getting addicted to drugs. Me realizing I'm selling pills and stuff, and watching my cousins get addicted to the same type of pills. There's all these, like, then coming back to school, and my teacher tripping off me not being able to focus on a lecture that doesn't seem to apply to my life, and rather than trying to address, like, yo, James, where you at? How are you feeling? It was always addressed with, like, James, you're problematic. Get out of my classroom. Or, some teachers like to try to embarrass you. But like, I just wasn't having that. And by the time I got to 16, I'm cussing teachers out, throwing, like I just wasn't. The environment of the classrooms in Oakland Unified School District is not set up to support the students they serve. Just to say it in shorter terms, they know the students they're serving are going back to their communities where they're dealing with drug addiction, where there's probably guns in the home, where there's their cousins brothers are in and out of jail, aunties might be doing sex work. Like, you really never know what is happening inside these households, or for there's teenagers living in Tent City, or like we really don't have it all together out here. Even like, I know my family was fortunate. I had a lot more than the people from my hood, but I still didn't have everything I needed, and that not being addressed, I couldn't focus in these classrooms. I'm worried about, I'm like, I got a couple dollars, and I'm worried about making sure that nobody around me trying to take that. And so, like, when you talking about, well, I didn't finish all the math problems, I'm like, I got half of them done, take it and grade me. You know what I mean?
So I just wanted to just say, and I know, Jayden, you got other questions. If you're watching right now, we need you to like and comment, keep that going, but we need you to share it. And when you share it, share that there's a young man on here talking about why he dropped out of school and what we as adults could have done to change that. Because there's so many people talking about, Black Lives Matters and Black Minds Matter or whatnot, but they often don't want to hear from the folks that's the most impacted, right? Because they don't use certain terminology. These are people from my neighborhood. These are young folks that grew up in the same place that I grew up in. And we got to make sure we sharing this conversation just as far and as wide as we can, so things can be different for other folks. It's real out there. So I just wanted to put that out there. But Jayden, I know you got your next one. If you want to have go ahead, Jayden. It's your thing, brother.
It's completely fine.
Thank
you. Just real quick, like, James, like, that was powerful. Again, it's like everything should straight facts. And just to echo what Charles said, like, any educators or anyone in position of power, or even if you don't have position of power, share this. This people in power need to hear this. People with the ability to change these youth situations and to actually help these youth, like, they need to hear this. And
for sure, can I add on to that, Jayden?
Yeah,
because I think it's like important that we don't just like accept this idea that that's just how school is. You know what I mean? And if that's just how school is, and like there's so many like young people of color, like, we're just sending our kids there. Stop sending our kids there. And because that's not how we're going to learn how to really educate ourselves and liberate our communities. You know what I mean? Because I've experienced education. I've learned more since 2017 in these past 3 years than I ever have in my life, through the support of the Hidden Genius Project, through the support of alternative education, through taking on a project and just going with it. And so I think it's very important that we don't just settle for like, well, this is what is available for schooling. And so this is what I'm going to put my kid through in this traumatic ass 12 years, hoping he comes out okay.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up, man. That was beautiful, man. I appreciate you sharing that. Back at you, Jayden. There go you.
Yeah. But in terms of the challenges like that James, that you said you faced in creating FixMyKix, like developing that shoe restoration service, I honestly I share those same challenges. Like being in a school right now, being in all sorts of programs. All they essentially they don't distract me, but they show me different. For me, I guess I feel like I'm blessed in which I see alternative lights. Like Charles showed me that there's a career in education for me that I can for surely enter. The Hidden Genius Project shows me that there's a career in computer science, entrepreneurship that I could enter. Mm-hmm. And like I'm also part of the NAACP and the BSU of my school. They show me that there's a career in politics that I can enter. Like so, that all takes away sort of the focus I have for my company, my social media management company, iBlinko. So, but I feel like for me, it's still sort of a blessing to have all these different opportunities around me. That I'm not sure if you had or not. But
no, for sure. That's absolutely, I can relate to that. That's a beautiful problem.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my probably the number one thing, like for me in terms of the challenges that I faced on my journey to create iBlinko.com. But
I'm glad to hear that, brother. I'm glad to hear that for real.
And somebody just said that they just looked at your website, James, and they gave you a whole lot of love on it, man. So thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
For checking that out.
I appreciate that.
So yeah, I mean, but and again, part of the reason I started Energy Converters and this type of work that I do with Jayden and a bunch of other people is because we don't teach specific things that interest folks like me and you and Jayden all the time inside of schools. We don't teach about entrepreneurship. We don't teach you how to take care of yourself. And as somebody who lived in 4 shelters, right? Like me making money and knowing how to make sure I'm straight is something that's paramount to my survival. So I don't really care what else you're talking about if I'm gonna be messed up out here. Like both my parents was on drugs when I was a kid. So I'm not really, I can't worry about this lesson on Columbus who didn't care about me anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now let's talk about the entrepreneurship, because even though the system failed you, you were able, with some help from some other organizations or whatever, but you took agency over yourself and said, well, I'm gonna do something different and build this company. So what were some of the challenges you faced when you were becoming an entrepreneur and getting FixMyKix out there?
For one, I think a really big one was just like also I was also a college student. So I dropped out of high school, finished doing independent studies 4 months early in my graduating class. They kicked me out of school because I wasn't going to graduate early. I wasn't going to graduate on time. So I headed straight to college that same semester because I graduated high school in April. And so while there, I'm like having like the most crazy, like I'm like, yo, like college is dope. Like I'm glad I gave it a try because I never got to be in this type of learning environment. And so while I was there, everybody started like, I think everybody was just happy. James, the dropout, like he oh shit, he's in college. Like, excuse my language.
You can everybody was real conversation. Be you.
For sure. Thank you. Everybody was so happy that I made it to college. That they were like, they didn't want me to. I think they really just wanted me to focus on that. But I still saw FixMyKix as my mission. Like this is what I could do. College is always going to be here. But getting FixMyKix is what I knew I was supposed to do. But I started nobody would say it, but in the way folks would address me, the folks who I would listen to as advisors in my life, the way they would address me or advise me was to really make sure I'm doing good in school And you know, I also was working. So I was working in college and working on FixMyKix. That was a really hard split of my time because I'm also 18 and I had a social life, and that was just important to me. I was learning balance. And so it was like everybody was kind of like, yo, make sure you're still in school, do great in school. You feel me? You got some money, like making sure you're working, you got some money. And I'm like, you know, like I've been working on FixMyKix. I'm not getting paid from that yet, but I will. It's dope. It's on the way. I'm pitching, I'm joining programs while I do that. But I slowly, it almost felt like folks lost hope and FixMyKix. It almost felt like what my vision was to get through high school and what I seen as something that was real. It was almost like other folks that I met along this journey through some of these programs, some of these schools. They only saw FixMyKix as my way to my diploma or my way to make it to 18 and still be alive and just not be another death in Oakland. And that might just be like a negative way of looking at it, but it seemed more like it was like, oh, we got James through here, and now we just get him to college, he'll be good. But that's not what I wanted, and I knew I liked college, but then I realized that's what everybody felt, and I dropped out of school again. I was like, nope, got to keep going. I can't keep dividing my time like this. I need to learn better time management. I don't have the time management skills yet to balance all four of these. I'm not doing the best I could in these classes. I know when I come back to college later, I know I can get straight A's. I just need to be able to focus. So I cut it off, and I'm 2 months out from launching. And I think that was like really one of the biggest things in just taking that agency of like, bro, I know what I could do. I made it all this far. And like, I know that I know folks, everybody around me had good intentions and they just want the best for me. But I know taking this risk and just pushing it all the way until the wheels fall off or until it's just running is my best bet. And so just building a team around me to make sure that it could happen was the only way I could do it. And so that's building that team and just keeping that agency of like, no matter what folks around me might think is my best route, just go.
We're going to hold it right there because we're going to come back to that. But I want you to see these comments, man, because you're getting love. Miss Piquette joined in during her lunch break and said she was working from home, but she loves this content. It's very necessary with the amount of trash that's on her timeline. Toya, who's been one of our biggest supporters and who loves Jayden, actually, she said, oh, my God, son, you just gave me confirmation about encouraging my son. He tried it my way. Now he wants to try it his way and push his business.
Yes.
You know, and then, you know, you got to take a leap of faith and just kind of believe in. And I would just say, man, like part of this, you know, and Jayden has just been an amazing host and an amazing just young man. But, you know, part of this is I wanted to build something where I talked to people that were like me. So even though I did okay in school and got good grades, I've always been entrepreneurial. Like I've always been like, yo, you got to make this happen. So even, you know, part of these shows is we'll have the show, and then the last 15 minutes, you know, Jayden and I will kind of do like a reflection of the show, like as if nobody's watching, right? And I tell him, you know, like this is your thing, like you got to market it, like understand in the entrepreneurship world, like you eat what you kill, like meaning that all the stuff falls on you. And the reason why I do this, I play ball. I love ball. Ball took me all over, man, and it kept me out of trouble. But there was somebody else was the star of the team. Like when it was time for the final shot, whether we won or lost, somebody else shot, and they often missed. Sometimes they made it. It was cool. But I just made the choice in my life. Like, look, if anything that's pertaining to me in my life, I got to be the one taking the shot. I can live with it if I miss the shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't want somebody else calling the shots, especially when I see what happens to Black kids from my neighborhood in Oakland and where I was born at in Chicago. I moved to Oakland when I was 10, but you know, the west side of Chicago, Maywood, Illinois, or the south side where I bought my house, like it's like kids are dying here that look like us. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that is really important. And so I didn't want to take up too much time, Jayden and James. But part of this is to be passing information and knowledge beyond like different generations, right? So I appreciate you with that story and just being, you know, as honest and straightforward. You know, Jayden, what's your thoughts about everything he just said?
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, it's really empowering. What we're trying to do here, James. So yeah, so you went over like your struggles and what you're like, what you're currently your situation now after like dropping out of college and working on Fix My Kicks for the past like 2 years, right? Uh,
Yeah, yep, 2 years now. 2 years.
yeah. So now I just really want to show everyone, all the audience, the success that you've gained so far. So can you just briefly talk about the wins that you've had with Fix My Kicks so far?
For sure. For sure. Yo, I mean, um, so I think for right now, we're in a space where we have about 3 more weeks till we get our till our team gets to see the mobile apps and the official marketplace version of the official web version of the marketplace. So this is the official product that we'll be launching with, where everybody will be able to sign up, create a profile, and view the profiles and listings of folks who are on there offering their services, book a service, and that everything's getting ready to start. And so I think like this is really exciting because I am not a developer or coder, so that has definitely been one of my big obstacles over this time, is finding a developer to build the project. So to be there is really exciting. We're also 20 in between 20 and 30 transactions already done with the website we
Oh,
have up right now. That has been the most exciting part of everything for me, as well as we're collecting market research data that we can use to pitch and seek out the investment we need to really go hard for the next year to the next 2 years. And but being able to work directly with these
He broke up a little bit.
offering service
He
providers.
broke up a little bit. Did he break up for you, Jayden?
yeah, he broke up. He broke up a little bit.
Okay, just say that last part over, James.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so one of my I had last Friday. Yep, exactly last Friday. I think I really had a full circle moment when we were over at one of the restores house that we work with. One of our partners, his name is Eric at Bay Area Conco, and he does amazing work. And we were over there. Me and one of the videographers I work with were creating some social media content.
James.
Yeah, it's all good. He'll come back.
Sharing these folks' stories.
Yeah, you just froze a little bit again, but you were talking about being at the house of one of your restorers. Why don't you? You freezing up on this, brother. I don't know if you on Wi-Fi or you on your regular stuff or whatever.
I am on Wi-Fi.
It's all good. You might need to just switch to your regular phone stuff, but don't trip. Get situated, and Jayden and I just keep talking while you get straight. So, I mean, Jayden, just you booked James. You knew his story or whatnot. Like, what does his story mean to you? You know what I'm saying? Somebody who y'all show up in school differently or whatnot because young people got different needs. So, knowing his story and knowing that you got this platform, what does this make you feel?
I feel like, again, I say this probably every week now. I feel like the youth that I bring on here need to be showcased more in general. What one of our viewers said earlier, on their timelines, instead of all the negative stuff, we need to have James. Like, we need to have like Kevin and Rachel from earlier, and that's I believe that more and more as I go through this podcast and see, like I bring people like James on and show everybody, and everybody's so impressed. And it's like, yeah, I see this a lot. We're not that bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, so like again, that it means a lot to me, honestly. What I see from people like James, and like I know him personally. We work together on some stuff, man. Like very inspiring for me. Like he's I'll say this, like he really did inspire me to create iBlinko, leading me to thousands of dollars in funding, leading me to being on the news. So again, just real quick, thanks James, like for everything you've done to keep me.
Thank you, bro. And you inspire me too, bro, because there's I think it's important that like it's important that folks like who are building something build a network of folks who are also building something, because even there might be days when I'm not inspired, that I could look at your page or hear about what you're doing, and that's inspiration for me. And so it's definitely reciprocated, bro. You're just as inspired, and I think it's important and sometimes we might forget that. Just remember that, like, as we go on these journeys and work, like, we are a representation of like hope for our community. You know what I mean? And as we like focus on our visions and don't let our visions die, and every day we work towards dreams. Like,
every time he making a good point, it frees on him. Your internet's hating on you right now, B. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, man. You know, we just gonna have to do it again at some point too, because I think that there's much more that we both want to capture from you. I think that, you know, I think you got a story to tell. I think we're not very different at all. And I would love to continue to hear more of that. I know that you was asking about the wins, Jayden, and I know you had your next one. So what advice do you have for other young people, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir. Advice for other young people, I think I say this a lot, is just like, someone told me there's never gonna be no Batman or Superman coming to our hood to save us, and there's never gonna be no Green Lantern or Ninja Turtles. You feel me? And just that we have to be the heroes that we're looking for, and we have to be the problem solvers in our communities, because the government is not going. The government, the medical institutions, none of these companies, like, nobody's gonna build the solution our community needs but us. No one is coming to save us, and we have to accept that responsibility. In America, we live in this culture of pushing off responsibility onto someone with a higher power who's supposed to handle this type of stuff. But in reality, that's just a lack of taking personal responsibility of our situations, and we really the only thing that's really going to save us is acknowledging where we're at. And yes, a lot of it is out of our control, the circumstances that we're in and the obstacles that we face. However, what is in our control is how the circumstances that we're in when our lives are coming to an end, and the situations that we're able to put our children's children in, because they don't have to experience the same things and the same obstacles that we do.
That's what's up. Go ahead, Jayden.
Yeah. To add on to that, now you just said a lot right there. Yeah. Shoot.
You still here?
Yeah,
Yes.
my internet's bugging a little bit.
It's all good. Well, I got you, man. James, I think that you have given us a lot to think about. We will be sharing this with a lot of educators and a lot of folks. And, you know, I think one of the things that people need to hear is a raw, real truth. I say this a lot on my show, and just in my writing and even my research as a doctor. It's just like, look, man, there's a right answer and a real answer, and everybody just wants to hear the right answer. The right answer is the doctored up stuff that sounds nice and sounds good and uses big words. The real answer is the real shit that people go through. And here's my reaction to this type of place, right? So for instance, I'm from Oakland. I'm from a very different Oakland, actually. Oakland is a lot less dangerous now than what it was when I was coming up, but it still ain't the safest place for young Black folks. And so, you know, I'm not a hood dude. I've never been a hood dude. I've never been with it like that, but I'm hood adjacent, meaning that I knew how to handle myself and make sure I knew how to stay out of trouble. And I knew, like, yo, I'm from North Oakland. I'm from 54th and Gaskill.
Yep.
I didn't want to get caught in in Acorn if I'm not from Acorn at the wrong time or in the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? And like,
for sure,
that's hard for people to hear and to understand exactly what that means. And my thing is just to anybody listening, I'm doing a whole show on this as Jayden comes back. I have 4 degrees. I'm a doctor. I get to travel the country and the world and talk and do all this stuff. And if you're afraid of me, but you out the other side of your mouth screaming that Black Lives Matter, or you screaming that Black Minds Matter, or that you screaming that you anti-racist, or you screaming that you care about all Black kids, or you can educate whomever, but you afraid of me, the cat with 4 degrees that has his own money and his own businesses and owns his home and is not going to rob you. Then what's going to happen when you meet a kid that's going through what I went through, that don't have those things to fall back on? What are you going to do when you meet a kid that's really hurting, that's telling you this stuff ain't talking to me, and instead of him saying it in a nice way and you say something, he's just like, bitch, get out my face? Are you going to have the courage at the right time to be that anti-racist person who cares about all Black kids? Or are you just going to be a product of the system and make sure that that kid ends up suspended and on his way to jail, right? Like, these are the conversations we need to be having.
For real,
James.
For real. No, and that's real, because it's one thing to talk and to talk about the idea of how we handle these situations, but it's a whole nother thing to be in the scenario and identify it, and to remove your ego and to not personalize it, and to remember that this situation is bigger than you, but you can make a large impact here. And just the decision of is this whole curriculum more important than whatever route you're about to send this young man or woman, this young person down? If you send them to that suspension, if you send them to that expulsion, if you keep them, if you take them out of the type of classes they're in and put them in another set of classes, or they had like cohorts where I was at school and where I was at Skyline, and it kind of seemed like they were really specific about the type of students they had in each type of cohort. And so like those decisions matter, because these are I think the people don't understand how much that the educators shape and mold our learning experience through life. Like if my parents didn't have the resources to educate me, so they put me here to educate me so I can understand and learn how to navigate life. You are my experience with learning. So if you mess up my experience with learning, like here, no matter where else I go, like I when I think of learning, it's time to learn. Like I'm going to have negative connotations around that. I have a friend who literally just like learning school is literally all because of his experience and the way he was treated. It just brings negative emotions. The conversation can't even happen without tension, and that is trauma. Like that man can't even he can't even think about learning or educating himself in that manner, in a formal way. And that is that's so disappointing and heartbreaking for me. And I just want folks to understand it. Though that individual decision that Brother Dr. Charles mentioned to remove your ego and to think about what's best for the student and what do they need.
Why don't you give us the final thought, and then we'll transition into one of our last post-show kind of talks. And James, you're more than welcome to be here with us and hang out.
Yes, sir.
In the show for us, Jayden.
Oh, so honestly, for the viewers in the chat and viewers watching this, I really want you guys to really just take away from what James is saying and his entire experience in the educational system. And again, share this, make this go viral, whatever it takes for people to make a huge change and to reform these systems that keep us restrained, honestly. But yeah, in terms of thank you, Charles, for really
thank you
getting it out of James, and thank you, James, for really just telling your story just straight up. Like, I really do appreciate it.
Thank y'all both for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. So stay with us for this part. So now, y'all, we are in our post-show learning moment. And this is the part where, as an entrepreneur, me and Jayden kind of just recap the show, talk about some of the finer points, and then I give him some feedback. He gives me feedback or whatever the case is. And, I love it, right? So, so let's figure this out. So Jayden, I think that you did an amazing show. I think that all your shows have been great. I think this was the most impactful. And not that James is better than any other guest, but I think it just got to the real nitty gritty of like what life looks like and what it is for some people. This is probably one of those things that's kind of close to my life. So how do you just, as you booked this show, Jayden, how did it feel for you? And then what feedback would you like?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I agree. This is probably one of the most impactful episodes we've had so far. In terms of feedback, I would like to know how you guys think of me as a moderator and as a host of this show. And I also want to know, like, what other topics do you want to see, like, on the show? What else do we need to, like, really cover? What else needs to change? And just really, like, just an overview of, what needs to happen.
Yeah, man. I'll let our guest go first, man.
What am I answering?
So he asked, he just wanted feedback on how he moderated the conversation. And then he was asking you what other type of topic would you like to see in the future?
Okay, oh, for sure. I thought y'all were asking the guests. Yeah, not the guests, the viewers. But yes, Jayden, bro, you did an amazing job. The questions prepared were great. I think you did a great job at. You're really engaging. I think you're an exciting person to listen to. You can tell you have a lot on your mind, and a lot of ideas, and I think it's great to watch. So I think you're great, bro. Just keep doing what just keep polishing yourself, like with anything. Like the more you do this, the more you engage these conversations, like the better you'll get. And I think yeah, man, I'm not you do great. I can see myself doing too much better than you, man. So I think just keep them reps up, bro, and you'll keep being dope and doper.
Jayden is amazing, and Jayden, we just put you on a press run. You talked, on a page that had 31,000 people yesterday. I think that you working on this article. I think you have some great stuff happening, and also, I have a very high bar for you. I don't kind of like. I'm not surprised by your success, and I'm not impressed by it. And what I mean by that is because you're brilliant, and I'm just gonna keep pushing you to be better. Listen, goldfish only grow so small because people put them in that small ass little fish bowl, right? I'm gonna put you in the ocean so you can grow and become a shark. You feel me? So what I would say is I think your on talent is bar none. I think people love you. I think that you are inspirational. I think like people like Miss Toya and Vicky and Miss Piquette, like all these people that have like, they love you. They have like adopted you. They're gonna watch and support anything you do. Where I think you can improve though is not just the show though. You're the showrunner. You're not just the host. You're the writer. You're the producer. You're the showrunner and the booker. So you gotta like when you got a guest like James come in, you got to start marketing that a week out. You got to push and make flyers. You got to hit your people up and text them. You got to say, James, I need you to hit everybody in your phone book and come watch this show. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm rocking. Like, you got to own that. When Jay-Z said that marketing plan, that's me. What he was saying is, look, none of these studios believed in me. None of these record companies or labels believed in me. Like, so I had to be everything from the artist to like the person that's doing it. Like this is your baby. And so you've seen how I work. So I wanted to say this to somebody who builds you up. And I think what you're doing is great. I'm not gonna do that thing like a teacher that don't know you and don't know your potential or don't care about you or don't love you the way that I love you. Gonna be like, oh, that's good. And like pat you on the head and keep it going. But I want you to win without me. I want you to be like killing shit just in case I'm gone tomorrow, right? I don't want you dependent on me or anybody. If somebody helps you, it's beautiful and it's great. But I'm not giving you fish. I'm teaching you how to go out with a rod and some bait and your own hook so you can kind of make it happen on your own. So that would just be my feedback. And I think after this, your job on this episode is not done once we close the camera, right? Like you need to like take the YouTube, you need to take the Facebook, you need to take the links, and you need to be like, yo, you still need to like put your work in to like market it and get it out there. Because look, man, there are some shows I do that get 10 or 20,000 views, and there are some shows that get 50 or 200 or whatever the case is. But with a conversation like this, where you got somebody as honest, as earnest, and really trying to make it as James, and like y'all having this conversation, like, you know, you got to push it. So that's, and for the people that's watching, this is how I teach. This is how I show love. I don't care about a syllabus. I don't care about some shit on the board. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to always give you who I am, the real of who I am, because I want you to be able to survive the same streets that I need to survive. And bro, I'm in Chicago right now. I'm an Oakland kid, but this is where I bought. But like, I'm seeing kids. I grew up on the west side. I was born on the west side of Chicago. I'm in the south side. But like, when you watch the news, bro, like Chicago right now is Oakland in 95. Like, you know, these kids are still out here hungry. These kids are still out here like getting after it. And this is the work that we do to interrupt stuff. So, you know, you are more special than what you might think, and your potential. You ain't even scratched the surface on your potential, but I want you to be a beast, and you are well on your way. So I'm gonna always be honest with you, always. And and regardless of what you do, whether you winning, you failing, or whatever, bro, I love you unconditionally. And like, you know, and I think a lot of kids that grow up, they become nihilistic, one, because they don't see how school can work for them, and two, because everything feels conditional. You only like me if I'm doing what you want me to do. You only care about me if I make you look good. And that's never going to change the condition of Black kids in the places that we grew up. Like, they got to know that somebody rocks with them unconditionally. James, I looked at your website. Tell me what I can purchase today. Tell me what I can do. I don't have nothing. You see shoes as part of my culture. If you
I already see the box in the background.
You know, so if you got some custom stuff, I wear a size 11, let me know, and I will support you by like you spending my money. I'm not patting you on the head either. And I expect a good product. You feel me? Like, I expect, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this ain't charity. Like, these people not out, Jayden don't get charity from me, and James not getting charity. But people keep failing to see the brilliance that comes out of like Black folks like us. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna show you and we gonna learn you something. So that's my feedback, and that's where I would kind of put that on that learning. So y'all can react on those things.
For sure. Thank you for sharing. That was hella powerful. Jay, I'm glad you got other brothers in your corner, bro, and you being pushed from all angles. That's hella beautiful. For the order, if you wanted any restoration or customs, for sure got you. If you got any shoes that need a deep clean, maybe you got some J's that need to be unyellowed.
When I get back home to the town, I'll make sure I do a drop off then. But I know y'all also do custom stuff, so I know you not like GOAT or whatever, where you like got a reseller, but are you working to get like, you know, like if I'm like, yo, I just need some kicks, I want something that's kind of fresh. You know, I don't want to take you outside of your business. I just want to find a way that I can support you.
You know, it's good. I'll explain the process real quickly. So basically, during COVID, everything is through shipping, right? So wherever you're at in the world, we can work with you. We have a partnership with UPS, so you can go visit the website. You click service request, and it will take you to a form. You would already have taken pictures of the shoes you wanted to get restored if you're getting them restored, or even if you wanted if you want to get a brand new pair of shoes or a pair of shoes you have customized, just take pictures of them. And then you fill out the form. Let us know what you want in the form. When we get that form, we share information with our artists or restorers. They let us know how much it's going to cost, how long it will take, and what they're going to do, the description of the services, basically. I'll share all the information with you along with the invoice. And then if you want to move forward with it, you ask me any questions you have, pay the invoice, we get the shoe. I'll send you a shipping label so you can send the shoes out. And then they'll work on them, and then I'll send them a shipping label. They get it sent back to you, and then shipping is incorporated in the invoice. And then if you want to get a pair of customs done, but you wanted to just buy the shoe online, send it straight to them, then what you would do is you put the order in with us, you buy the shoe online, have it shipped straight to the artist's house.
That's what's up, man. When you keep letting us know how we can be supportive. Jayden, how you feel about the feedback I gave you, fam?
Yeah, honestly, I appreciate that. Again, it's like there's definitely youth out there like me. There's definitely a lot. But again, like not everyone has a Charles, and not everyone can also like see like a person like Charles, or see like something that like the Hidden Genius Project or the energy converters or whatever program, and be like, oh yeah, that can help me, advance. Not everyone can see that, and that's also a process or a product of the systems that are in place as of right now. Again, like I said, it's like I'm gonna keep on repeating this. I don't feel special. I don't feel like I'm exceptionally talented. I feel like I'm just a normal person who has like interest in politics, education, and computer science and all these things. The same interest that a lot of you share, but they just can't take that next step for whatever reason. And so what we need to do as a people, as Black people, and as youth is look at these reasons in which like we can't advance, and like the youth like that are like me and James can advance, and we need to attack those. We need to figure out what we need to do in order to support them as much as possible. And that's what I think of your feedback. And also like to what James said, yeah, definitely check out James. 30, 40 transactions, like that's amazing, honestly. And the launch, what day are you launching?
Well, we haven't got a launch date together yet, but we get the tech back from our engineers on the 9th of September.
So definitely in September, like all our
late
viewers,
September, early October.
Yeah, all our viewers, if you have like a son or a nephew or anything, definitely check FixMyKix.com out. And like
we did that. We got that part. Like I'm gonna because this part is for like your growth and your learning, right? Like we still push them and promote them. I'm gonna keep it a band with you. I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. Like whether it's somebody, I didn't have a me or whatever. I mean, I don't even know what that means, right? Like, but here's what I learned, and just growing up where I grew up, where like I'm the first in my family to go to college or whatever. Like my dad had been to jail. Like both my parents was in and out of jail. Most of the men in my family been to jail, like or doing something illegal or whatever the case is. So that's just a reality for folks. But here's what I learned, Jayden and James. Like I look, and it's gonna sound bad, but I'm gonna keep it real with you because it's just us talking now, right? I know people might be watching, but y'all should feel blessed because this is unfiltered and this is the way we should be talking with our young people. I look at life like I'm in a forest, dog, and it's a bear chasing me. And once I learned that I didn't have to beat the bear, bro, I just had to beat the people around me. It changed my perspective. And I came back to my hoods. I'm in Chicago right now to build out energy converters to take care of other folks where I grew up. And then in 2 years, I'll be in Kentucky. Like I've lived in all three of those places. But half the battle is showing up, bro. Half the battle is like doing the work. And like, you ain't got to be perfect. You ain't got to be the smartest. You ain't got to be the best. But most people just won't show up. And once I learned that, and once I learned that these systems, I don't depend on these systems for nothing. Like I work to change them, but these systems don't give a fuck about me, man. And I mean that as somebody, when I was homeless, living in shelters and all that stuff, man, like it's a lot of people that pray for me now, that support me now, that'll like stuff now, that'll read stuff now. But when I was a dusty kid living in that shelter in San Francisco or in Oakland, bro, it was just me. When I was at Lafayette and that lady said, yo, why you spending time with them little future gangbangers or whatever, bro? I was 10, 11 years old, bro. I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's how they see you. So I had to learn how to do for myself, because when things get tough, all I got to do is I say the wrong thing on Twitter, I'm back out on my ass. These people don't care about you, dog. Like they don't care about me. So what do I build, right? Like that can insulate me and my family enough that I'll be able to do whatever. Like James, bruh, it don't matter. Like you've been in my car, Jayden. I'm not robbing nobody. Like you've seen what I do. I was on BART like a month before COVID hit, and this white lady still grabbed her purse and held it tight. It's like, yo, like that's just how they see us sometimes, right? But I can't be concerned about that. It's how do I see myself? Do I see myself as special? Because the same way James got treated is the same way Jay-Z, 50 Cent, they put 50 Cent on Ritalin. They put possibly one of the best marketing minds in hip hop history, who went on to be the biggest selling rapper of all time, who now is killing it in TV and doing whatever he wants, the way he wants. They put him on Ritalin and told him that he had that he needed to be in those classes. You understand what I'm saying? Like they don't see our brilliance until we start doing it. Like we are shoe culture. We are street culture. Like, I got hats on my thing, on my back rack. Jayden, you got hats on yours. Like, culture don't move without us. But in our schools and in this world, bro, they keep teaching you that we not valuable, that we need other people, or that we need validation. Everything that happened today, you built, Jayden. You built it from nothing. So now you got to nurture it like it's your baby. You got to nurture it as an extension of iBlinko. You got to nurture it as an extension of your articles. You got to nurture it and like, yo, you know, y'all listen to Oprah or whoever on TV, but fam, I'm bringing you James Green. I'm bringing you somebody from my soil that can be in those same spots. You know what I'm saying? That also know how to handle himself in these streets. It's a lot of people that that's running Twitter that they wasn't cool in high school, bro. Like, they wasn't the people. Like, they feel a certain type of way, and now they bully people on Twitter, bro. Like, nah, man, we from a place where we seen real bullies. We seen real things happen, you know? So when you got somebody as grounded as James or as grounded as you, Jayden, like, just know, bro, you a diamond, bro. And like, you a ruby, bro. And like, don't wait for them people to put a value on you. You put the value on yourself, but you show up having done the work. Like, it ain't no way possible, bro, that I should have got the call sheet about James in this show the day of. It is no, I know you busy, you doing it, bro, but you said you want to be an entrepreneur, right? This is what you want, right?
Yeah.
You can handle this, bro. This is you built for this. And I don't care how nobody feel about what I'm saying to you. I don't care if somebody feel like I'm telling you wrong or I'm being too hard on you. They ain't gonna run up. They're not gonna do nothing. They're not gonna do nothing. Ain't nothing gonna happen, and they're not gonna look out for you the same way, bro. But I could be gone tomorrow, Jayden. Something could happen to me, and I don't want nothing in your life to stop or slow down whether I'm here or not. You feel me? So that this is, and these are the lessons that you're gonna be teaching somebody else at some point, man. But I'm gonna end it the way I always end it, bro. I love you for real, bro. And whatever you need, I got you. James, whatever you need from me, I got you. Jayden, make sure he got my number. Make sure he has whatever access, and bring them back, because I think we need we need to unpack this conversation, but with a bigger audience. So I think that we should actually plan something for like a month, whether it's my platform or yours, Jayden, or we do both, and where we actually put some money behind it to make sure. Bro, I just talked 2 days ago to the former U.S. Secretary of Education under Obama. Super dope dude, sweet guy, man. It was a great conversation, and it's thousands of people that's gonna watch that. I want those same thousands of people to watch this conversation right here, because we talked about the same thing. He talked about growing up in New York. He talked about people not having faith in him and not believing in him. And then he was the most powerful education officer in the country. So, you know, the first thing they try to take away from us, y'all, and I know I'm preaching and I'm gonna stop, but they try to take your ability to dream away. They try to take your ability to see beyond your current situation. And when we stop dreaming, bro, we stop growing. So keep dreaming, keep doing what you have to do. And I'll be here, bro. I'll take a bullet for you, dog. And so I expect the best out of you always. Thank you, Jesse, for your nice words. We definitely appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all have been listening to Jayden Show. This is the after part, the post-show learning. And I promise you, if classrooms felt more like this, I promise you'd have less Black and brown folks dropping out. I promise you, if we spoke to the core nature of what people like me and James and Jayden came from, and you speak life into us and possibility and let us dabble and try in different things, I promise you we'd be showing up to your classroom like it's the club. I swear to you. I swear. So, James, why don't you take us out with any last words that you want people to take away, and we'll make sure you get all these links so you can share it out.
I just want to say thank y'all so much for having me on y'all platform. I really appreciate it. Y'all have some amazing questions, and I love what y'all are doing. Both of y'all are some really powerful brothers, and I just feel very blessed to have brothers like y'all on my network. To anybody listening, I think I had a mentor, Dr. Prince K. White, and he used to always say, Assata Shakur's chant, It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We have nothing left to lose but our chains, and that's just one of my favorite chants, and so I always keep that in my mind. We got nothing to lose but our chains of oppression and and the position that we're already in. When there's so much to gain upon us from us deciding to dream and to work to bring our dreams to fruition. And so I'm proud to know you two brothers, and thank y'all.
With that being said, man, we're gonna say bye and we'll see y'all next time.
All
For
right, y'all.
sure. Later, y'all.